Everyone wants to succeed, but not everyone around you wants to see you succeed. Some people are anchors holding you in place while others are wings lifting you higher. Today, we'll expose the 5 types of people who silently sabotage your growth and why cutting them off is not just necessary, but essential for your future. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, someone is keeping you from moving forward? You take one step ahead and suddenly you feel drained, discouraged, and stuck in the same place? That's not a coincidence. That's the result of the people you allow in your life. You see, success is not just about what you do. It's about who you allow around you. Some people are like nutrients to your growth, while others, they're poison. And today, I want to talk about one of the most dangerous kinds of people you must cut out before they destroy your potential. The first kind of person you need to remove is the dream killer. Oh yes, you know who they are. The ones who look at your vision and laugh. The ones who tell you, that's impossible. You're dreaming too big. You should be more realistic. These are the people who plant seeds of doubt in your mind, and if you're not careful, those seeds will take root and kill the very thing you were born to do. Now listen to me carefully. Some of the biggest dream killers are not strangers. They might be your friends, your family, even the people you love the most. And that makes them dangerous because their words don't just hit your ears, they hit your heart. But here's the truth. You cannot let someone who gave up on their dream talk you out of yours. If you keep listening to them, you will look back years from now and realize you never became who you were meant to be simply because you let the wrong voice control your future. Let me make this clear. If someone is not feeding your vision, they are starving it. And if you let them keep speaking doubt into your life, your passion will shrink, your belief will fade, and your dream will die before it even has a chance to live. So what do? You cut them off. That doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you're rude. It means you value your purpose more than their opinion. Some of you right now, you've been tolerating dream killers for far too long, and it's time to let them go. Because here's the reality. When you start removing the wrong people, you start making room for the right ones. And trust me, the moment you cut off a dream killer, you will feel a new energy, a new mindset, and a new confidence start to rise inside of you. Now, that's just one type of person that's keeping you stuck. But let me tell you something. There's another kind of person who is just as dangerous. Someone who doesn't kill your dreams outright, but slowly drains the life out of you. You might not even notice it happening until it's too late. And that is what we're going to talk about next. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt completely exhausted after talking to someone? You didn't run a marathon, you didn't lift heavy weights, but somehow, after spending time with them, you feel drained. Like your energy, your motivation, even your joy just vanished? That's not a coincidence. That's a sign that you have a life drainer in your circle. Life drainers are people who don't aid to you, they take from you. Every conversation is about them. Every problem they have somehow becomes your problem. They expect your time, your energy, your help over and over again, but when you need support, they're nowhere to be found. These people are like leaks in your life. Imagine filling up a bucket with water, expecting it to stay full, but there's a hole at the bottom. No matter how much you pour in, it keeps running out. That is what life drainers do. They take, and they take until you have nothing left for yourself. And let me tell you, if you keep these people close for too long, They will drain your passion, your focus, your peace until you are completely empty. And the worst part, they never get full. You can give them all your energy, all your time, and they will still come back wanting more. Now, some of you are thinking, but I've known this person for years, or their family, I can't just walk away. Listen to me. This is not about cutting people out with hate. This is about protecting your destiny. Because if you don't guard your energy, you will never have enough strength to become who you were meant to be. So how do you know if someone is a life drainer? Simple. After you spend time with them, do you feel inspired or do you feel exhausted? Do they make you better or do they just use you until there's nothing left? Because let me tell you something. The people in your life should fuel you, not drain you. They should lift you, not leave you struggling. And if you keep pouring into someone who only takes, eventually you will have nothing left for yourself. Some of you need to hear this right now. Stop giving unlimited access to people who only take advantage of you. Stop feeling guilty for saying no to someone who has no problem saying yes when they need something from you. It's time to set some boundaries. It's time to stop explaining yourself, and it's time to take back your energy. Because let me tell you something, when you remove the life drainers, you'll start to feel lighter. You'll start to feel stronger. And you'll realize you were never the problem. You were just surrounded by the wrong people. But listen, life drainers are not the only ones keeping you stuck. There's another kind of person who's even more dangerous. They don't just take from you, they manipulate you into staying exactly where you are. And that is what we're going to talk about next. Let me ask you, have you ever felt like no matter how much you try to move forward, something just keeps pulling you back? You're working hard, making plans, dreaming big, but somehow you find yourself stuck in the same place? That's not a coincidence. That's not bad luck. That's a weight. And sometimes that weight is a person. There are some people in your life who are not just holding you back, they are holding you hostage. They don't want you to grow. They don't want you to change because if you do, you might outgrow them. And listen, some people would rather keep you small than see you leave. These people are the ones who always remind you of your past. Oh yes, they know the old version of you and they refuse to let you move beyond it. The moment you start talking about growth, about change, about doing something different, they laugh, they criticize, they bring up every mistake you've ever made. Why? Because deep down, your progress is an insecurity for them. You see, not everyone in your life is clapping for you. Some are just waiting for you to fail. Because if you succeed, it exposes their lack of growth. If you break free, it forces them to look at their own limitations. And some people would rather hold you down than lift themselves up. Now, let's be honest. These people are not always easy to spot. Some of them act like they support you. They smile in your face. They act like they care. But the moment you take a step forward, they suddenly have advice for you. Are you sure you want to do that? Maybe you're moving too fast. You know, not everyone succeeds at that. Be careful, because what sounds like concern is really control. And let me tell you something, as long as you allow someone to control your decisions, your dreams, your direction, you will never reach your full potential. So what do? You release the weight. You stop explaining yourself to people who have already made up their minds about you. You stop asking permission to grow. Because the truth is, if someone is not growing with you, they will try to stop you from growing at all. Some of you need to hear this right now. Your future is too important to carry the wrong people with you. It's time to start surrounding yourself with those who push you, challenge you, and inspire you. Not the ones who keep you stuck in a version of yourself that no longer exists. But listen, these people are not the only ones who can hurt your future. There is another kind of person who doesn't just hold you back. They smother your potential by making everything about them. And that is what we're going to talk about next. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been around someone who makes everything about them? No matter what you accomplish, no matter what you share, somehow the conversation always comes back to them. You start telling them about your dreams, your goals, your progress, and instead of celebrating with you, they either ignore it, compete with it, or twist it into their own story. These people are not just selfish. They are distractions. They are attention takers, always pulling the spotlight back onto themselves. And let me tell you something, as long as you are caught up in their world, you will never have time to build yours. Some of these people disguise themselves as friends. They act like they support you, but if you listen closely, you'll realize they never ask about you. They never pour into you. They never encourage you because in their mind, you are just a supporting role in their story. And here's what happens when you're always dealing with their problems, always fixing their mess, always being their emotional support system. You lose sight of your own purpose. You wake up one day and realize you've been so busy helping them climb that you forgot to take care of yourself. Listen to me. Not everyone who is close to you is good for you. And if you keep them in your life for too long, you will wake up one day emotionally exhausted because you spent all your energy carrying someone who was never meant to be your burden. You were not created to live as someone else's emotional crutch. You are not responsible for fixing people who refuse to fix themselves. If someone only calls you when they need something, that is not a friend. That is a parasite. And let me tell you something. Parasites don't just take, they weaken their host. And if you don't remove them, they will suck the life out of your dreams, your confidence, your future, until there's nothing left. So what do? You set boundaries. You start protecting your time, your energy, your mental peace. You stop apologizing for putting your purpose first. Because the truth is, if someone gets angry because you refuse to be used, that's proof they were never really for you in the first place. Some of you right now, you're carrying people who are blocking your next level, and it's time to let them go. Because the moment you do, you will start to feel lighter. You will have more energy, and you will finally have the freedom to focus on what really matters. But listen, there's one more kind of person you absolutely must cut off, and they are the most dangerous of all. They don't just drain you. They don't just hold you back. They actively pull you into their chaos. And that is what we're going to talk about next. Let me ask you a serious question. Have you ever noticed that some people don't just bring problems into their own life, they bring them into yours? Every time you're around them, there's drama, there's chaos. There's always a crisis that somehow becomes your responsibility. These people are not just distractions, they are destructive. They don't just slow you down, they pull you down. And the worst part, they do it so subtly, so naturally, that you don't even realize what's happening until you're already caught up in their storm. You see, there are people who thrive in dysfunction. They don't want peace. They don't want stability because chaos is all they know. And if you allow them too close, they will pull you into their cycle of negativity. And before you know it, their battles become your burdens. One day, you're focused on your goals. The next, you're caught up in their arguments, their bad decisions, their reckless behavior. And listen to me, these people don't want solutions, they don't want to change. They just want someone to join them in their misery. And here's the dangerous part. Some of them don't look like trouble at first. They may seem fun, exciting, even charming, but over time you start to realize every time you're with them, something goes wrong. You lose focus, you lose time, you lose opportunities, and if you're not careful, you could lose your. Some of you right now, you have people in your life who are constantly pulling you into their mess. Every time you try to move forward, they show up with another problem, another excuse, another reason why they need your time, your energy, your help. But let me tell you something. Just because you care about someone doesn't mean you have to carry them. If someone is committed to staying in chaos, you cannot make them change. And if you try too hard to fix them, you will end up breaking yourself. You cannot save someone who refuses to save themselves. So what do? You stop letting their dysfunction become your distraction. You stop putting your future on hold for someone who has no intention of moving forward. You stop allowing people to treat your life like a dumpster for their problems. Listen to me, not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Some people will only come to take, to use, to disrupt the peace that you have worked for. And if you don't protect yourself, you will spend your life trying to rescue people who were never meant to go where you are going. But here's the truth. When you finally let go of the wrong people, something incredible happens. You start attracting the right ones. The kind who challenge you, push you, inspire you. And that is what we're going to talk about next. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever met someone who, just by being around them, made you want to dream bigger? Someone who challenged the way you think? Someone who made you want to grow, to do better, to become better? That feeling, my friend, is the power of the right people. You see, the people you allow into your life will do one of two things. They will either build you up or they will tear you down. They will either push you toward your destiny or pull you away from it. And let me tell you something. If you don't choose your circle wisely, you could spend years running in place simply because you are surrounded by the wrong people. Some of you have been stuck for far too long. You've had the same struggles, the same doubts, the same frustrations, and you're wondering why you're not moving forward. Let me tell you why. Because you've been walking with people who are not going anywhere. If the people around you have no vision, no drive, no hunger for success, guess what? That energy will rub off on you. Because let's be honest, it's hard to keep dreaming big when you're surrounded by people who think small. It's hard to stay motivated when everyone around you is comfortable with average. And it's hard to grow when you're spending all your time with people who have no desire to grow themselves. So let me ask you, who are you surrounding yourself with? Are they lifting you or are they limiting you? Are they challenging you to be better or are they keeping you stuck exactly where you are? Because here's the truth. If you are the smartest person in your group, if you are the most driven, the most focused, the only one with ambition, you are in the wrong room. You need to start surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, people who have already done what you're trying to do, people who will push you past your limits and refuse to let you settle for less than your potential. And let me warn you, when you start leveling up, some people will feel uncomfortable. Some will say you've changed. Some will try to guilt you into staying the same. But listen to me, growth requires separation. If you want to go to the next level, you have to be willing to leave behind anything and anyone that is holding you back. Some of you need to start auditing your circle. You need to start asking yourself, who is really for me? Who is pushing me higher? Who is adding to my life instead of just taking from it? Because the moment you align yourself with the right people, you will start to see new doors open, new opportunities come, and a new version of yourself emerge. But listen, there is one final thing you must understand. You've removed the wrong people. You surrounded yourself with the right ones. But there's still one more battle you have to fight. And that is what we're going to talk about next. After everything we've talked about, the wrong people, the distractions, the energy drainers, the dream killers, there is still one more battle you must fight. And this battle is not against other people. It's not about cutting someone off. It's not about removing negativity from your life. No, this battle is much closer. This battle is within you. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you were standing in your own way? Like deep down, you knew you were capable of more. You knew you had potential. You knew you had something great inside of you, but somehow you just couldn't seem to break through? That's because the biggest obstacle in your life is not other people, it's you. It's your fears, it's your doubts, it's the small thinking that has been conditioned into your mind since you were a child. And if you don't conquer that battle, you will never reach the life you are meant to live. You see, it doesn't matter how many toxic people you remove. If you don't remove the toxic thinking in your own mind, it doesn't matter how many right people you surround yourself with if you don't believe you deserve success, because the truth is you will never go further than the limits you set in your own mind. Some of you have been living in a mental prison for years. You've allowed fear to tell you what you can't do. You've allowed past failures to convince you that you're not good enough. You've allowed negative experiences to make you think that success is for other people, but not for you. And let me tell you something, that is a lie. You are more powerful than you think. You are more capable than you've been told. You have ideas, talents, and gifts inside of you that are waiting to be released. But as long as you stay in a mindset of fear and doubt, you will never access them. So how do you break free? You start changing the way you think. You stop telling yourself what you can't do, and you start telling yourself what you will do. You stop letting your past define you, and you start letting your future inspire you. You stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, the perfect moment, and you start moving forward now. Because listen to me, the only thing standing between you and the life you were meant to live is the courage to step into it. The courage to believe that you deserve more. The courage to take the risk, to do the work, to push past every excuse, every fear, every limitation, and go after what is yours. This is your time, your moment. The world is waiting for what's inside of you. The only question is, are you ready to step into it? Because the moment you decide to walk in your purpose, everything changes. Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some people succeed while others struggle their entire lives? Have you ever seemed to break through every obstacle while others stay stuck in the same cycle, year after year? Is it luck? Is it talent? Is it opportunity? No. It all comes down to one thing: decision. You see, life doesn't just happen to you. Your future is not determined by chance, it's determined by choice. And whether you realize it or not, every single day you are making choices that are either taking you closer to your destiny or pulling you further away from it. Some people never reach their full potential, not because they aren't gifted, not because they don't have opportunities, but because they refuse to decide. They wait. They hesitate. They overthink. They talk about what they want to do, but they never actually do it. And before they know it, years have passed and they're still in the same place, wondering why nothing has changed. But listen to me. Success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who decide to take action, decide to move forward, decide to cut off the excuses, the distractions, the negativity, and focus on the path ahead. Because every great achievement, every breakthrough, every success story you have ever heard started with a single decision. Some of you right now, you are one decision away from a completely different life. One decision away from stepping into your purpose. One decision away from breaking free from everything that has been holding you back. But here's the question. Are you willing to make that decision? Because let's be honest, making a decision is not easy. It requires sacrifice. It requires letting go of what's comfortable. It requires stepping into the unknown, taking risks, and trusting that what's ahead is greater than what's behind. And that's where most people stop, not because they don't want success, but because they fear what it takes to get there. But let me tell you something. If you don't make a decision about your life, somebody else will. The world will decide for you. Society will decide for you. Your fears, your past, your environment, they will all dictate your future if you don't take control. So what's it going to be? Are you going to keep waiting for the right moment? Or are you going to decide that this is your moment? Because the truth is, the life you want, the future you dream of, the person you are meant to become is on the other side of a decision you have been putting off for far too long. And once you make that decision, once you finally step out of hesitation and into action, you will realize something powerful. You were never waiting on life. Life was always waiting on you. But listen, before you take that step, there's one last thing you must understand, and that is what we're going to talk about next. Let me ask you something. Who is responsible for your future? Who is responsible for your success? Who is responsible for the life you live every single day? Because I can tell you right now, it's not your parents, it's not your boss, it's not the government, your friends, or even your enemies. The only person responsible for your life is you. Now I know that's a hard truth. It's uncomfortable because the moment you accept full responsibility for your life, you can no longer blame anyone else. You can't blame your upbringing. You can't blame the people who hurt you. You can't blame missed opportunities. No, the moment you own your life, you realize that every excuse you've been holding on to is just that, an excuse. But let me tell you something. Excuses will never change your life. Blame will never move you forward. Waiting for someone else to fix your problems will never make you successful. The only thing that will change your life is when you take control. Some people go through life waiting for a break, waiting for the right time, waiting for someone to come and hand them an opportunity. And year after year, nothing changes. Why? Because they have given away their power. They have convinced themselves that their future is in someone else's hands. But listen to me. The moment you take responsibility for your life, you take back your power. Because here's the truth. As long as you blame others, you give them control. You give them the ability to dictate your future. And that's why some people never rise, never grow, never achieve their full potential. Because they have built their entire life around what other people did to them instead of what they can do for themselves. But today, That changes. Today, you stop looking at what you can't control and start focusing on what you can. You stop waiting for things to happen and start making things happen. You stop asking for permission to be great and start stepping into your greatness. Because listen to me, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to fight harder for your future than you. So the question is, what are you going to do with your life? Are you going to keep blaming, keep making excuses, keep waiting? Or are you going to rise up and take full ownership of the path ahead? Because the moment you do, everything changes. And once you accept that you are responsible for your future, you'll realize something even greater. There is one final piece to this puzzle. Something so powerful, so life-changing, that once you understand it, you will never be the same again. And that is what we're going to talk about next. Let me ask you something. Why are you here? Why were you born into this world? Because I promise you this, you are not here by accident. You are not here just to exist, just to survive, just to go through the motions of life only to leave this world without making an impact. No, you were born with a purpose, a destiny, a reason for being. But the sad reality, most people go through their entire lives and never discover it. They spend their days working jobs they don't love, chasing things that don't fulfill them, living according to other people's expectations, only to reach the end of their lives and realize they never truly lived. And I don't want that for you. I don't want you to wake up years from now wondering, what if? Wondering what could have been if you had just followed your calling, if you had just believed that you were created for more. Because let me tell you something, when you find your purpose, everything changes. Your energy changes, your mindset shifts. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter, and you start living with intention. You wake up every morning with a fire inside of you, because you know exactly what you were put on this earth to do. Some of you right now, you've been searching for meaning. You've been asking, what is my purpose? But deep down, you already know. It's the thing that excites you. The thing you could do for hours without getting tired. The thing that makes you feel alive. That is not a coincidence. That is your calling speaking to you. And the only question is, will you listen? Because listen to me, success is not just about money. It's not about fame. It's not about impressing people. True success is about fulfilling the purpose you were created for. It's about using your gifts, your talents, your voice to make a difference in the world. And the moment you start walking in that purpose, doors will open, opportunities will come, and you will become the person you were always meant to be. But let me warn you, walking in your purpose will require sacrifice. It will require stepping outside of your comfort zone. It will require letting go of fear, of doubt, of everything and everyone that is keeping you from becoming the best version of yourself. But when you finally take that step, when you finally say yes to your destiny, you will experience a level of peace, joy, and fulfillment that nothing in this world can compare to. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep living by default, or are you going to start living by design? Are you going to keep waiting for the perfect time, or are you going to decide that your time is now? Because the moment you embrace your purpose, you will never be the same again. Your future is waiting. Your destiny is calling. The only question is, will you answer?